But I said, if you gave me Mahomes, if you gave me Lamar Jackson with his great legs and Mahomes' great arm, or you gave me Baker Mayfield, who would I want? I would want Baker Mayfield, and the reason why is because Baker Mayfield.
I really think that now this is the worst case scenario for the San Francisco 49ers, is that they're going to have to cut ties with Jimmy Garoppolo if I were them. What? Oh my God! Wow, man!
In any event, Kyle Gibson is definitely my NL Cy Young Award winner. Rock on, Gibby.
And even no way! Oh my God! All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into a very late night edition of Sports Weekly here on both the MI6 Sports Network as well as the IM6 Network. I am your host, Isaiah Leon, coming at you from Fremont, California. And we're just going to do a little quick show tonight, recap game one of the NBA Finals, and just talk about the massive Dan Hurley Lakers bomb that was dropped on us. If you are living on the East Coast, last night at around 7 a.m. Eastern time this morning, or yesterday morning. And then if you are on the West Coast like me, you got the news at around 4 a.m. this morning that the Hurley to the Lakers bomb. We'll get into that and then we'll end it right there. Let's talk about actually, before we get into it, if you have any comments, questions, concerns regarding any of the topics that we're going to get into, or anything regarding this program, feel free to fire away in the comment section, and we will read your comments here live on the air. And I may have some of my co-hosts join me here on the air here tonight for a very special late night edition here of Sports Weekly. So let's go into game one of the NBA Finals, which tipped off here tonight in Boston. Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics with the return of Kristaps Porzingis. The Boston Celtics beat the Dallas Mavericks in a resounding fashion. The Celtics clobbering the Dallas Mavericks by a final score of 107-89. They were up by as much as 29 points in this basketball game. I know I'm wearing a Lakers shirt. We're going to talk about them later on in the show. I posted a video on my Facebook timeline that said, screw Boston, never Boston, never Boston. That's why I'm rocking this. And plus, it's NBA Finals Day, so you got to rep your team, obviously, even though your team is not in it. But let's talk about game one. Celtics win 107-89 in the final score. Luka Doncic in the loss had 30 points. In the loss, Jaylen Brown had 22 points. Kristaps Porzingis, the biggest story. He had about 20 points in that first half. He was phenomenal in that first half. Jason Tatum only had 16 points. He was not that effective in this game, but everybody else around, whether it was Derek White, whether it was Sam Hauser, whether it was Jaylen Brown, whether it was Kristaps Porzingis, just feeling the Celtics to this victory. And my thoughts on this is I'm going to go to the Boston side first, and then I'm going to speak on the Dallas side. For the Boston Celtics, this was a resounding message from the Boston Celtics that, hey, we are the best team in basketball, and you have been disrespecting us all season long, and that disrespect has got to stop. And that's what this message was from the Boston Celtics. It was a message sent by Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, and co. that, hey, we're back. The monster is here. And for the Boston Celtics, they came out, they swarmed the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic was very passive early on. He was not comfortable. You could see everybody else. Kyrie, I'll talk about him later on in the show. He was not comfortable. PJ Washington was not comfortable. Tim Hardaway Jr. was not comfortable. Kleber wasn't comfortable. The Boston Celtics just swarmed them, and they swarmed them everywhere, left, right, east, south. I mean, they swarmed them, and the Dallas Mavericks just could not do anything against that swarming defense. And they had Dallas turn the ball over a lot of times. Boston, great job forcing those turnovers, but defensively is where we're going to start. Defensively is where Boston won this basketball game with their absolutely epic swarming defense. Porzingis was the key igniter. I mean, he comes off the bench and then a couple of just crazy dunks, crazy quick triples. I mean, let me say this. Kristaps Porzingis has the quickest release I've seen in the NBA. I mean, this dude just catches the ball and you're like, okay, what is he going to do with that? And he just quickly releases, just throws it up and then bam, hits the shot. I mean, it was crazy to watch what Porzingis was doing. He definitely ignited the crowd. He ignited his teammates. He provided the energy when he was going, when he was getting those dunks, when he was hitting those threes. I mean, his teammates were going crazy. The fans were going crazy. They definitely got the energy boost from Porzingis, and defensively as well. I mean, he had some really great blocks in this game to help the Celtics, win this game. I mean, he was tremendous on the glass, rebounding, blocking shots, altering shots. I mean, he was a nightmare for the Dallas Mavericks. He cooled off in the second half, but that first half, I mean, he was amazing in that first half. I had people even on Twitter saying, Porzingis Finals MVP, Porzingis Finals MVP, and I was just like, hey, hold off on that real quick. It's only get the first half of game one. We'll see what happens, but I mean, it was special to watch from Kristaps Porzingis. And then, Dallas took the lead, the 29-point lead, down to 8 points in the second half in the third quarter. But Boston, the defense once again stiffened. Porzingis had some great shots. Jaylen Brown took over with a couple of nice buckets. Jason Tatum got aggressive. I mean, it was just fun to watch if you're a Boston Celtics fan. Obviously, as a Lakers fan, I threw up a lot of the times in this game just watching it because I hate the Celtics with all my heart. But I mean, defense. The defense was the biggest catalyst for the Boston Celtics tonight, and Porzingis' presence, it was great. And when the lead withered down, Tatum and Brown doing what stars do. They took over late in that second half, and that's why the Celtics ended up winning this game. I want to get to Kyrie Irving. I want to get to the Dallas Mavericks. Kyrie Irving had 12 points in this game. Luka Doncic played his ass off. This was plain and simple, by far, the worst shooting performance that I've ever seen in my lifetime watching the NBA Finals. I mean, the Dallas Mavericks were just atrocious shooting the ball tonight. It wasn't just the three-pointers. I mean, the fadeaways, the mid-ranges, the threes, the layups that you got to make, free throws. I mean, this was by far the worst shooting performance that I've witnessed in an NBA Finals game. It was an atrocity what we saw tonight from the Dallas Mavericks. And obviously Dallas, I think, are going to be better in game two because they're not going to shoot this poorly. They can't. I mean, they have great talent, so they're not going to shoot this poorly. But I just believe for Dallas, right? I mean, look at the three-pointers. I mean, they went 6 for 19 while Boston shot and made 16 threes. That's a 10 three-pointer difference, and that's a 30-point swing right there. So when you just think about it, like that's one of the reasons why the game was lost. It's because the Boston Celtics scored 30 points more than you when it comes to three-point shooting. You knock down half of those. This game, no joke, is a 5 to 6 point game. The Dallas Mavericks just had an atrocious shooting night. And then let's get to Kyrie Irving now. Kyrie Irving buckled down under the immense heat that he was getting in Boston. I know you guys don't know what happened. Kyrie said when he was with the Celtics, he said he was gonna, stay in Boston. Then he ended up leaving, and he's had some incidents when he was with the Nets where he stomped all over the Clover mascot's head at TD Garden, and then he gave Celtics fans the middle finger. So you expected a raucous environment. You expected an environment where the fans were booing him. But I think Kyrie let that pressure get to him. I mean, Kyrie was just not the same. He turned the ball, made careless mistakes, turning the ball over. He was very scared. He played scared, I think. And Kyrie just looked like he was shook by that environment. And Kyrie's he's an NBA champion. He's played with LeBron. He's gone up against the gauntlet that is the Golden State Warriors. You cannot be scared, Kyrie. You've been through worse than that Boston was giving you. And obviously Boston, great environment, right? Great environment. But you cannot buckle down like that, like you did tonight. You played like a rookie. And Kyrie Irving is an NBA champion. He's a 10-time or 10 NBA season vet. You got to be better than it. You got to show up. It's game one of the NBA Finals. This isn't just some game in June in January or in February. No, this is a game in June. This is the NBA Finals. And for you to not show up, man, it was a disgrace. I mean, Kyrie Irving, 12 points. You got to be kidding me, man. That's some numbers that I would expect Austin Reeves to shoot in the NBA Finals. Not a guy like Kyrie Irving. Like, it was just a joke what I saw from Kyrie Irving, just being scared of the moment, and you should not expect a guy like Kyrie Irving to do that. But sadly, that happened to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie's got to step up in the second game of the series for Dallas to have a chance, because Luka was doing his thing, right? Luka needs help. You can't just expect Luka to do his thing and then that's it. Kyrie's got to step up. Luka's, got to continue to play great ball. PJ Washington's got to step up. Kleber's got to step up. Everybody's got to step up. And most importantly, they got to knock down their open shots. You cannot let Boston have a 30-point advantage over you when it comes to 3-point percentage. Like, you just cannot. Like, you're going to lose every single game that you play if that's the case. So, congratulations to the Boston Celtics. What a great win by the Boston Celtics. Congratulations to Jason Tatum and co. Taking game one. Kristaps Porzingis was absolutely huge. We'll see what kind of adjustments that Jason Kidd makes in game two. But I think what they got to do, and we'll talk about this in a bit, but what Dallas needs to do is, number one, Dallas, Kyrie and Luka, they got to show up. I mean, Luka's got to play like he did tonight. I think he's got to play even better. Kyrie's got to show up, though. Kyrie has to show up. If Luka's the only guy that's showing up and showing out, well, then they're screwed, because they don't have the depth to beat Boston that way. So let's transition over. We do have a lot of comments here tonight. Let me go ahead and just read those. So we got my guy Taylor. What's going on, Taylor? Taylor says that the Celtics are going to get that number 18th championship before the Lakers get it. Yeah, I mean, it's looking like that right now, Taylor. Looks like, unfortunately, that's going to happen. Hopefully not. Hopefully Dallas comes back and the Boston Celtics choke, but it looks like that's the case. Taylor says, beat LA. Taylor also says, by the way, Isaiah, if you live in the Bay Area, why are you not a Warriors fan? Yeah, I can tell you that funny story, actually. So I actually grew up in Hawaii, Taylor, and my first basketball game that I watched was Lakers versus Spurs, Western Conference Finals 2008. And, I had known of Kobe Bryant. I had heard of him when I had not, even though I had not followed sports. And, crazy thing is, I started following sports because I got hooked after watching that one basketball game, that one amazing game against the San Antonio Spurs. I followed the Lakers all the way up until when they lost to the Celtics in 2008. And then, I just felt bad for them. And that's how I became a Lakers fan. And I became a Lakers fan that way. And, I became a Lakers fan that way. And, yeah, now I'm a Lakers fan ever since. And so, yeah, that's how I've become and then when I moved to the Bay Area, the Warriors were starting to become good at that time. And I did root for them for a little bit of time, but once they became great, I was like, you know what? I'll let the Warriors have their moment. I have not been a Warriors fan through the bad parts. I've been a Lakers fan throughout, so that's why I just stuck with the Lakers because I was like, you know what? I don't want a bandwagon, so that's why I stuck with the Lakers. So that's Taylor. That's your story on why I am not a Warriors fan. Taylor also says the Celtics played great defense. That's true. Defense won them the game for sure. A lot of stifling those alley oops. Yeah, I mean Porzingis, Horford was tremendous. Jaylen Brown on some of those layups, alley oops. I mean, it was great. It was definitely crazy to see. Um, Taylor also says to have Porzingis back in the lineup was a plus. I mean, true that. Taylor says Kyrie has not been the same since he left Cleveland. I mean, I feel like you're right, Taylor, but I also feel like the Boston environment, them booing him every time he touched the ball, really got into his head. I mean, I can't think about a time that's really affected a player like that. I mean, it's probably affected a lot of players, but I mean, I thought Kyrie was going to be like Kobe, where Kobe embraced that. Kobe, when he had those environments, Kobe would be like, okay, screw you. I'm going to go play my ass off and just ball out, and he would go for like 40, 50 points. That's why I think that I thought Kyrie going into this game, I was like, that's a plus for Kyrie because Kyrie has that mindset where it's like, hey, I don't care that you're booing me. In fact, it motivates me even more. And then he goes out and gets 50 points, 60 points, but definitely not tonight. And Taylor says Luka and Kyrie can't do it all by themselves. The Celtics have depth. Also, yeah, both teams have depth. But that Celtics definitely have a lot more depth than the Dallas Mavericks. So that's why it's very important that Luka and Kyrie not only step up but go bananas if they want to win this series. So that's my take on game one. Now let's transition over to game two, guys. The Boston Celtics and the Mavericks will meet for game two. Dallas hoping to avenge their loss tonight. Boston trying to take a 2-0 lead in this series. For game two, what does Dallas have to do to come back and fix the wrong of tonight and tie the series up? I think it's very simple. Dallas has to make their open shots. That's what they have to do. They got to make their open shots because if you allow Boston to make 10 more three-pointers than you're going to lose, plain and simple. So it's the numbers game. You're going to lose. So they got to make their wide open shots. Kyrie and Luka, they got to go bananas. Like I said, this series, you both better go for 40 points a game every game for the Mavericks to have a chance. And I think they can do that. That's how great they are. But Kyrie and Luka, they both got to go for at least 40 points a game between those two if they want to have a chance. And then I think the last one is defensively, you got to, number one, like the Celtics, I mean the Mavericks, I felt like they did a great job of contesting, the passes, right? Like the Celtics obviously have had a lot of open looks. They didn't make a lot of they made a lot of their threes, but they could have made more. But I really think that the game came down to the Mavericks playing scared, turning the ball over a lot, and also missing a lot of their open threes. I thought that it was a very evenly matched game, but Dallas just missed everything from three, and that's why they couldn't close the gap. But I think defensively, definitely you got to. I think the game plan tonight from Jason Kidd was all right, but you got to put, I feel like, more emphasis on Porzingis because Porzingis is definitely going to be that game changer for the Celtics with his ability to pass, with his ability to make shots, with his ability to defend the paint. You got to put that someone on there to and emphasize that they got to deny him because you can't let him take over this series. You don't have the length to be able to beat him. So they gotta figure that out if I'm Dallas. So that's my thoughts. For Boston, I mean, it's basically the same. Do what you did tonight. Hit your open shots. Let Porzingis run the show. When Porzingis is doing his thing The Celtics are unbeatable. So, and I just think also Tatum, be a little bit more aggressive. Tatum didn't have to be aggressive tonight. He's probably going to have to be aggressive in game 2 because they're going to have the attention on Brown. They're going to have the attention on KP. So, take that, and, you got to be aggressive if you're Tatum. So that's my thoughts on games 1 and then also game 2 as well. Before we end the show tonight, let's get into some of the breaking news, the bombshell that shook the entire basketball world this morning before the NBA Finals. It came from ESPN's and the best insider in basketball, Adrian Wojnarowski. He broke this literally right before I was about to go to bed. And once I saw it, I was like, you know what? I ain't sleeping anymore. So let's go. It's the news from Woj. Breaking news from Adrian Wojnarowski: the Los Angeles Lakers, my Los Angeles Lakers, are targeting UConn's head coach Dan Hurley to become the franchise's next head coach. Sources tell ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski the team has had preliminary contact with Hurley and the sides are planning to escalate discussions in the coming days, sources say. Also, from Rob Reinhart, I think that's his name. Rob Reinhart. He is the guy covers for the covers basketball for the New York Times. He says, very plugged in. Dan Hurley is meeting with the Lakers top brass tomorrow to negotiate a potential deal that would make him the highest paid coach, not in college basketball, but in the entire NBA. He would be paid more than Greg Popovich, Eric Spoelstra, Monty Williams. Per source, initial feelings in stores is that Hurley will resign and will most likely take his staff with him. So who knows? Dan Hurley might be going to the Los Angeles Lakers. We will see about that. But you know what? Let me give you my thoughts on this. Listen, this was a absolute earthquake. This was like a 9.4 purple and gold earthquake that shook the entire basketball world today. It was a stunner. It was shocking. I mean, you had been hearing for weeks, JJ Redick, James Borrego were the 2 finalists. Then you heard a little bit yesterday, maybe Monty Williams, if he gets fired by Detroit. Like, I've been hoping that he would be a finalist. When my guy Marshall, shout out to my guy Marshall Munoz for texting me that news. My guy Marshall sent me that this morning, like at 4:45 in the morning, right before I was about to go to bed. Like, I was watching YouTube and I saw his message popped up on my notifications, and then I was like, I brushed it off. And then, like, when I was watching YouTube, so I quickly just skimmed by it. I was like, okay, nothing really to see. And then I remember seeing the words Lakers and Hurley as I brushed it off and went back to my YouTube video that I was watching. And I was like, oh my God, there's no way. And I went back to it and I immediately looked at it. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Oh my God. And I went on Twitter immediately after seeing that, and I immediately saw the Woj tweet. And I had to actually, because I was so tired, I thought it said at Woj P ESPN. I thought it was a fake one. Had to look it over like 3 to 4 times. Turned out my tired ass saw P, but it was actually Woj ESPN. So it was real. And I was like, oh my God. And my reaction was like, yes. That was my reaction. Like, it was 4:45 in the morning. I wanted to get out of my room and just run around and just yell. But, obviously I couldn't because everybody's sleeping. But yeah, man, I mean, I am ecstatic. I am thrilled. I hope it happens. I want to play a clip from ESPN's one of the ESPN radio shows. This clip makes a lot of sense. And it's one of my feelings on this.
Let me tell you something.
What?
Good for the Lakers. I'm not even suggesting this is definitely going to work out. We can dive into that, but good for the Los Angeles Lakers, and here's why. I said to somebody the other day, how come we don't hear the Los Angeles Lakers going after 3 people? And they said, who? I said, how come we don't hear them going after Jay Wright, former Villanova coach, Brad Stevens, Celtics executive, and Pat Riley? Why are they not starting with no's? Why are they starting with easy yeses in JJ Redick, who obviously would take that job? Why are they not starting with no's? This is an example of starting with a no, starting with someone that is so accomplished and so good at his job that you act like the Los Angeles Lakers. You act like the team that has won as many championships as anyone else. You act like the team that had Showtime and Pat Riley and Magic Johnson. I don't know if this is going to work, but this is acting like the Los Angeles Lakers and targeting the top possible person out there.
Boom. That guy hit the nail right on the head. It's about time. The Los Angeles Lakers became the Los Angeles Lakers again, because for a long period of time, we were becoming the Los Angeles Laughingstocks. That's what we were becoming. It was like, instead of Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka and the old days where the Lakers would go and try to hit the grand slam or swing for the fences, the Los Angeles Lakers were like a franchise that SpongeBob, Tigger, Winnie the Pooh, Oscar the Grouch, Elmo, all banded together and ran that franchise. I mean, we were becoming a joke. We were becoming a meme organization. You know, when I heard that it was Borrego and JJ, I literally went on my knees and I was like, God, please, this cannot be it. This cannot be it. JJ Redick and James Borrego cannot be the 2 finalists left for this job. This cannot be it. There's no way. There's no effing way. It cannot be possible. There's no way, no how that this could be it. Like, it just cannot. It cannot be Borrego or Redick. No, we're the Lakers. We're acting like we're like the freaking Detroit Pistons out here. JJ Redick, James Borrego, are you freaking kidding me? Like, we're the Lakers. We're the purple and gold, you know? Lakers. We're the Lakers. We go after stars. And now we're, trying to go after these nobodies, these mid people like Darvin Ham, Byron Scott, when he was awful with Cleveland, and he was awful at his old destination. You look at guys like Darvin Ham, who hadn't even coached. You looked at a guy like, Mike D'Antoni had gotten fired by the Knicks. Nobody wanted him, but the Lakers wanted him. And then you look at this coaching search, and Frank Vogel was literally out of the league. And he was a guy that lost his job, fired by the Magic after he sucked with the Magic, and the Magic sucked. So I was like, dude, we're getting a bunch of these nobodies. We're getting a bunch of these recycled coaches. We're getting a bunch of these guys that, we're not getting the big name. We're just getting a bunch of these, like, okay, maybe these nobodies, these mid coaches, or these recycled coaches. That's what we were doing. And when it was Borrego and Redick, I was like, I literally ripped paper and I threw it everywhere, and I begged I went to my knees and I begged. I was like, there's no way. It can't be that. There's no effing way. And hallelujah, man. Prayers got answered, because, man, oh man, from going to a potential nightmare to now getting the best coach in college basketball, a guy that's established, a guy that is a big name, a guy that is a Grand Slam hire to come coach the Lakers. I mean, hallelujah, man. Hallelujah. Like, I'm just so excited because, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Hurley situation in a bit, but it shows that the Lakers are finally fed up with, we're not getting these nobodies, these mid coaches, these recycled coaches anymore. No, we're the Lakers. We're going for the big name. I've been saying for years, the Lakers top targets. Forget the candidates that's there right now. No Kenny Atkinson, none of those guys. It should be Mike Krzyzewski. I think Gino Auriemma was another one. I think Dan Hurley was another one of my choices. I was like, dude, you got to go for the big name. Because you're the Lakers. You're the freaking Lakers. It's like the Yankees going out, instead of getting Juan Soto, the Yankees going out there and, trotting out guys like Joe Pennick. out there, right? Like mid players or nobody. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm glad that this happened. I'm so freaking happy. I hope Hurley takes the job. We'll see, but it's about time the Lakers go after the big name because we're the Lakers. And I'll tell you guys this: I think that number one, and everybody's like, "Oh, is Hurley going to?" But Hurley is not a done deal yet. He might not take the job. Here's the thing: if Dan Hurley, there wasn't a lot of smoke to this, I don't think the best insider in the business, Adrian Wojnarowski, would put this out there. Because when Woj puts this out there, when he's the first to put this out there, it's typically like, okay, it's overwhelmingly like it's gonna happen. And then you hear the reports, and I know some Connecticut beat writers were saying something else, but then you hear the report from Woj that in his article, it's that they've been having discussions already behind the scenes before the Lakers decided to put up the offer. And I thought to myself, they were having discussions behind the scenes. If they knew Hurley wasn't leaving, or they had an inclination he wasn't leaving, or wasn't even interested and wasn't going to take the job, why would they just humiliate themselves by putting together and waste their time and put together this massive offer? Like, it's not going to, you don't do that unless the talks are going really, really, really well. So obviously it looks like it was happening, and they've talked already. I know Hurley's going to go to Los Angeles. I know Woj is also saying he's close with the Hurley family, that Hurley is already working on contract parameters with the Lakers. So it looks like that it may actually happen. I know Hurley's going to Los Angeles. Hopefully the Lakers, this is like when the Lakers went to get LeBron, right? Like it looked like it was leaning this way, and it was leaning heavily this way, but the Lakers just could not F up the meeting. They just couldn't F it up. And if they don't F it up tomorrow, I think they will be fine. Because for Dan Hurley, I know a lot of people are like, oh, but Isaiah, Dan Hurley can three-peat with UConn, all this stuff. This is the Los Angeles Lakers we're talking about. This is the Los Angeles Lakers, one of the most illustrious, proud franchises, not just in basketball, but in all of sports. Even people that don't follow sports know about the Los Angeles Lakers. And you could be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. You could coach LeBron and AD for the final couple of years of LeBron's career, win championships maybe for 3 to 4 years, and then work and then do what you do best and develop a program and develop young kids and rebuild. Like, I think it's the perfect world for Dan Hurley. And also you get to go to the NBA. You would be the highest paid coach in not just basketball, but in all of sports. I mean, like, that's a hard thing to pass up. I mean, they're paying you $20 million a year for 10 years. Like, how can you say no if you're Dan Hurley? Like, really, how can you say no? And I just don't think he can. So, and I think for the Lakers, finally having a guy with emotion like Dan Hurley. I mean, this dude's like rah-rah. Like, every time you see him on the sidelines, like, he's yelling at someone, he's cussing someone out. Like, that's what the Lakers needed. Darvin Ham was always Mr. Stick your hands in his pocket, or stick his hands in his pocket type of guy. And, the guys were never motivated. They always came out flat to start the game or either after halftime. And they just did not look good. And so I think that Hurley would be able, like, that's what I've always wanted. I wanted to see a coach, rah-rah coach, come in and just cuss them out, potentially throw things. Like, that's what they need. I mean, the Lakers, if they had Hurley's approach the last several years, I think they would have won it all, to be honest with you. And Hurley is a very good offensive mind, way better than Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham did not know anything about play calling whatsoever. I think if you had put Hurley in and replaced Darvin Ham with Hurley this year, I think the Lakers would be sitting here winning an NBA championship. I mean, call me delusional, but I really do, because Darvin Ham was awful. I mean, you could put freaking Jack and the Beanstalk, and he would coach the Lakers better than Darvin Ham. That was a disgraceful coaching job by Darvin Ham. He did not have any plays whatsoever. At least with Hurley, he's got this innovative offense that, he's really good at X's and O's. He would be able to maximize the talents of the players and actually put players in position to succeed and actually make adjustments in the playoffs and show off his tactical knowledge, which he needs when it comes to the playoffs. So, you know what? I hope they get him. I think it's going to be a great hire. It's definitely better than J.J. Redick or James Borrego. I don't want any part of those guys. If it's not Hurley, then I want Monty Williams from Detroit. If Monty Williams ends up getting fired by the Detroit Pistons, but Yeah, we'll see what happens. It should come down. I think Woj said he'll meet tomorrow. We should know about a decision in the next 24 to 48 hours. So, hey, don't sleep, guys. Turn on your notifications from Woj. There should be something big breaking very, very shortly. We'll see what happens. Taylor says, Hurley is no Phil Jackson. No, he's not Phil Jackson, but he could be the next Phil Jackson. I mean, he's got a great mind. He's a great leader. He's not afraid to cuss out his stars. I mean, that's what Phil Jackson was. So he could be the next Phil Jackson. Wasn't Taylor also says wasn't Phil Jackson part of that Showtime Lakers era? No, he wasn't actually. He was after that. He was the Kobe and Shaq era. He that was the coach that was there during the Showtime era was Pat Riley, I believe. So that was Pat Riley. Yeah, that was Pat Riley. So he Pat Riley was that part of that Showtime era. Damn good coach too. Taylor also says Phil Jackson was the best coach the Lakers have had, in my opinion. Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I grew up with Phil Jackson. I thought he was a great coach. He was great at motivating. He was great at leading. He was great at developing an offense, defensive game plan. So, yeah, I think Phil Jackson was tremendous. Taylor chimes in on the Hurley hire. He says it's time. It's that big jump to go from a college coach to a pro coach. That's true. That is true, Taylor. But it is. But here's the thing, though, with the NBA now or with college, it's like, yeah, you're coaching like grown men, but you get to coach LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I think Hurley would do anything to do that, and he would be able to defer, and he would want to defer to LeBron and Anthony Davis for a couple of years, and be that guy to drop the plays, but also let them have their freedom as well. Um, Taylor also says it's like in hockey where a minor league coach becomes an NHL coach. Yeah, that's true, but I also think that the Lakers can't do worse than Darvin Ham. I mean, Darvin Ham was worse than a minor league coach. So, and he was an assistant for many years. So, that's why for me, Hurley would be the big fit. But I think it just shows, like that guy said on ESPN Radio today, that it's just great to see the Lakers being back to being the Lakers, where they're going for the big name. They're not afraid of a no. So that's my take on that. But guys, I gotta go to bed. It's been a great show. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another amazing edition of Sports Weekly. We're gonna try to do one on Sunday, maybe after the finals, like a quick post game show. We'll see about that, and maybe do one if the Hurley news comes down either Friday or Saturday. But guys, it's been a great show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Taylor, my man, saw your message a little bit later. Sorry I could not get you on the program tonight. We'll definitely get you on next time, but I was having some issues with my phone, so I wasn't able to get you on. But yeah, it's been a great show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys maybe tomorrow if the Hurley news comes down. We'll see. But and we have Bruce Santos, late comments, San Palabas. Appreciate you, Bruce, for tuning in. But guys, it's been a great show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you after game 2. Have a great night, everybody. But I said, if you gave me Mahomes, if you gave me Lamar Jackson with his great legs and Mahomes' great arm, or you gave me Baker Mayfield, who would I want? I would want Baker Mayfield, and the reason why is because Baker Mayfield...
I really think that now this is the worst case scenario for the San Francisco 49ers, is that they're going to have to cut ties with Jimmy Garoppolo if I were them. What? Oh my God! Whoa, man!
In any event, Kyle Gibson is definitely my NL Cy Young winner. Rock on, Gibby.
And even no way! Oh my God!